Alrighty, y'all. So Jimmy Butler wants to be traded. It's official. He said it. We all saw the post-game conference last night where he sat down and he was like, hey, yeah, I'm just really unhappy. He looks really unhappy. I totally believe him when he says that. And they were like, hey, do you think you could ever see yourself being happy in Miami again? He said no. He said he likes living there for the most part. He was just like, nope, on the court, pretty much done, right? So this seems like it could be the end, right? If there was any team that wasn't going to do anything about it, it'd be the Miami Heat, but it feels like the Miami Heat are probably at an end, right? Like, it's probably time to blow up the team a little bit, move on to something else. And you look around the team, right? There's not a ton of hope that this team can win a championship. We always say, right, if anybody's going to surprise us, it is the Miami Heat. Heat culture is just a real thing, right? Even though, unfortunately, it seems to be the culture that has done in Jimmy Butler, whether it is the whole thing where Pat Riley was kind of criticizing him for not playing like in the playoffs and stuff while not playing, but for talking and while not playing or whatever, which I don't know. Like, I kind of agreed with that. I kind of didn't. I didn't think it was a big deal at the end of the day, but clearly things haven't been the same since, and no extension is probably 90% of the problem. Oftentimes these trade requests, a lot of it come down to business, because just think about it, right? This is like contract negotiation season for just about everybody in the United States right now, right? If you get to the end of the year and you want to get a raise, you want to get a bonus or something like that, I think about my wife even, who just, she got offered, like, she got a small raise or something like that. Wasn't nearly worth it for what she had done this year, so she's going to be most likely looking elsewhere for employment. It's totally a thing that happens to just about everybody, and if a team's not willing to invest in you, then that's fine. And sometimes it's for good business reasons. I mean, the Miami Heat might be saying, like, look, aging superstar, still really good basketball player, right? Like, he's a stud. He makes every team better that he's on. We just don't have anything else to really help the team right now. Bam is great. Tyler Hero has taken a big step up this season. Rozier's been bad. He did have a good game the other day, but like, it's been nice to see Khalil Ware get on the court a little bit more, but even still, like, that's not enough to keep Jimmy Butler around. Jaime Jaquez has dropped off. Jovic hasn't really taken that next big jump or anything like that. So it's hard, right? It's really, really hard. So a business decision is probably what's going to make these two guys part, and that's probably for the best at the end of the day. I don't think it's such a bad thing. The hard thing now is, like, what do you actually do? How do you move them? And I debated whether or not to even make a video on this, because, look, we've already known that this is the case. I've already made a Jimmy Butler video before. I mean, hell, we can go to my YouTube channel, and this is a small plug, I guess, at the same time, but I mean, like, we've done Jimmy Butler stuff before. Potential trade ideas for Jimmy Butler 3 weeks ago. We talked about him. We highlighted a bunch of different things in there. I don't feel like I need to do another one of these. If you guys want me to do like I've done these Warriors trade video things where I've kind of simulated ways that they can tear down teams. I did it for the Lakers, the Pelicans. I've done it in other ones for like the Nets. I've tried out different thumbnails and stuff. If you can't tell, doesn't look like much of a visual difference. Maybe these ones did a little bit better, but you guys don't care about my YouTube strategy or anything. If you guys want me to do a Heat one where the Miami Heat just completely tear their team down somehow, then fair enough, I guess, but that doesn't seem like what they're gonna do. So I don't know. I'm a little bit confused. Like, to me, it's like, okay, this team doesn't have a lot of draft capital and stuff like that, but there are some really interesting moves to be made, whether it's like a Zion type move, or look, like the one to Phoenix with Bradley Beal is the one that makes the most like basketball, like, money sense, right? But at the same time, does the Miami Heat really want to take on Bradley Beal? Not probably without some draft capital or something behind it, right? And the Miami Heat are not a team that like to just suck. They always want to be competitive, right? They don't just do moves to do moves, which I give a ton of respect for. We always say them, Indiana, and like Utah. Those are the teams. We're starting to see that a little bit, and the Clippers might be entering that conversation. That's just a hypothesis I have about the Ballmer ownership and everything, but I don't know. I don't know what we do at this point. I'll be curious to see what happens. I mean, look, Jimmy Butler's the kind of guy that I know he was sulking a bit last night. He just looked a little bit defeated. You guys have to remember, these are people at the end of the day, and this stuff is really, really hard. Like, it really is, to go out there and fight every night, and like, Jimmy Butler's a guy that tends to give like all the effort in the world, and then I know there's some people are like, oh, he's not right now. Shut up. Okay, just shut up. You've never been in a spot like this. You've never been in a spot like this where it's hard. Your team's losing all the time. People expect a ton out of you, right? It's really, really hard to be in spots like this. And look, I think Jimmy Butler's going to give a great effort no matter where he is. He's going to continue to make whatever team he's on better. I also think it's important to remember that if this is the end of the Jimmy Butler era, wow, what an era it was. He's one of the best Miami Heat players to have ever lived. If you told me, right, Chicago Bulls fan or any other fan base, that you were going to go get a single player, right? And they were going to take you to multiple conference championships, win more games than expected in those conference championships, and take you to the finals, like wow, what a run. They had so much success for so much time in a row when we all knew they had no business there, and it's because Jimmy Butler carried them. Like, absolute, like, clap to Jimmy Butler. Like, he has done this everywhere that he's been. He helped the Bulls overachieve. He brought the Timberwolves to the playoffs for the first time in forever with Wiggins and Cat, who didn't know what the hell they were doing the whole time. He took that Sixers team further than they belonged at the end of the day, and then they fell off as soon as he was gone, and he took the Heat so far. He's one of the best Miami Heat players ever, no question about it. I'd retire his damn jersey, but that's just me at the end of the day, because like that's just so much basketball success at the end of the day. It just is. So I don't know what you do with Mr. James Butler at this point. I mean, we can look at like destinations for where to trade him and everything. Oklahoma City, I'm not gonna lie, that thought crossed my mind because they have the assets to go and do so. I don't necessarily think so. Denver Nuggets, the Michael Porter Jr. thing, Look, Jimmy Butler's going to make every team he's on better, right? I don't think it's worth losing Michael Porter Jr., in my opinion. I don't think there's enough shot creators on the team, and Jimmy doesn't always like to do that. Dallas, how do you even go about doing that? I don't even know. The Houston Rockets, yep, that one makes some sense. I'm going to guess the Phoenix Suns. No, Golden State. I don't see the Golden State thing happening because you have to include Wiggins and Kuminga and stuff, and I don't know. I don't think it's worth it, in my opinion, but maybe the Warriors are desperate at this point, even though they did just have a really good game last night, so I don't know. I'm surprised that like the Lakers weren't like on this. I think it'd be complicated. You'd have to get a third team involved. You're going to have to get a third team involved almost for sure to make money like this actually happen. But man, I don't know. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Like I said, if you want me to do a video like this, like leave it down in the comments below. I can go do it. If you guys aren't familiar with these videos, by the way, go take a look at them. Basically, we sit down and we just like map out an entire roster and we go through and we're like, okay, this is what this player does for us. And if we add this, what does that mean for the team, right? We take it step by step like a GM would, make realistic deals and actually build out something that could happen. So I don't know. You guys let me know at the end of the day. But regardless, I'm excited to see where this goes. I hope Jimmy Butler can find some passion again. He's one of my favorite players, probably top 3 NBA players that exists right now and always has been. I'll say right now, if the Bulls can get him, I'll take him. I'll take him right now. I miss Jimmy Butler so much. I just miss having like dogs, like real dogs on the team. So I'll take Jimmy Butler in a second if it's any condolence to anybody else. But no, just curious to hear your guys' thoughts. I figured I'd put out a little video on it and see how we want to proceed. I don't want to like repeat content too much on here. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers or anything. But hey, appreciate you guys as always, and we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much. Bye.